Alright, so I just got the first sheet stood up here, and I thought I'd just share with you kind of a little trick of the trade, I guess you'd call it, or mainly just adapting to whenever you're working by yourself. So these are 25-foot sheets. Now before I ripped 4 inches off of them, they weigh 252 pounds a piece. So, you know, we're dealing with quite a bit of weight here, but it's all spread out. So your biggest thing whenever you're dealing with these sheets is there's a lot of flex in them. And for me, you know, doing this build, majority of it by myself, I've got to figure out how to move all these materials, you know, with one person. So this being 3/16, it's pretty rigid. I can kind of move it around, but if you're dealing with real thin material, you've got to kind of come up with ways to move them since you're dealing with such long length. So one little trick is, what I've got here is I've got a 16-foot 2x6, and I've taken some wicker bill clamps and I've clamped it on the top edge. And I slid my sheet over because I'm going to have to bring these sheets in and out and lay them out several times, especially with the sides and everything else. So with these clamps, what this does is it keeps this sheet rigid, and you know, I maybe cut off what, 12 pounds, 10, 12 pounds, so we're still dealing with 240 pounds or so of material, and I can get to center this thing with this board, and I can lift it up like nothing, and throw it up against the wall, and you can see it's all rigid, you know, by having that 2x6 across the edge. And I can still take and I can kind of walk it around if I need to get closer to the wall or anything else. So, you know, this little trick, you got to kind of come up with ways to, you know, help yourself along whenever you're doing these builds by yourself. Also, just, I know I'm going to get questions on how I'm cutting all this stuff. A lot of this stuff you can cut with just your standard, I don't like a chop saw for aluminum with an abrasive blade. I'd rather use a blade that's got carbide teeth designed for metal. This is a type of blade. It looks similar to just your regular saw blade. This one here's just got a real thick kerf, and the points are a little different. But at the same time, you can use just your standard miter saw. I've just got my big miter saw set up. You can do a lot of your tubing cut like that. That being said, cutting these large 25-foot pieces, it's kind of impractical to get the thing set up on the horses. So I use this portable bandsaw here. This is just a great tool for doing these long cuts and you know, kind of awkward situations. All right, so let me catch you up here. So I got the boat sheets laid out, figured out that I wanted a 15-degree haul. The boat's going to be somewhere around 24 foot long, maybe just hair over. So I'm going to build a trailer for 24 feet. Got everything strung out here for my trailer material, which is going to be this 2¼ by 4 inch by 0.190 thick channel. And the reason I'm doing channel is it won't hold any water. Now normally on a steel trailer you don't want to hold water. You know, for rust issues, aluminum really is the same way. You know, if I use this boat in the winter time, I don't want water getting, you know, trapped in there and froze, and you know, you're getting a lot of structural integrity, and it just looks real nice. So anyway, what traditional boat trailers look like, you can see there. They come up. They're not a straight square like a utility trailer. They come up to a point and then they shoot over to the center, which is where your winch is located for your boat. So I've got these 25-foot pieces of channel, and I'm going to use them to build a trailer. Now, my boat isn't like a traditional V-bottom where it slowly tapers, so my trailer is going to be more square and then kind of shoot over. So I kind of want the trailer to follow the contour of the boat as close as I can. So what I've done is I've measured up 19 feet, which is about where the boat starts to make its final taper in, and that's where my joint is to shoot over. So what I did was I laid these squares out and I found center, and I know that my tongue is going to be 2 pieces of this channel welded together for 4.5 inches of tongue. So I measured back over and I found center where this is going to be. Then what I did is I ran a straight edge across there and I found that angle. Then I took that angle, divided it in half, and I cut one side of my channel. And you can see how this is going to match up. There's one side there. I've cut one to show you. Now once I cut this straight across here, now that angle will match up just like that. It'll be a real nice clean joint to weld, which will give me my taper. This is what it looked like before. You can see right there is my angle. In this case it was like 64 degrees, so there's a 32-degree line there. That's my straight line there. So I'm cutting all this stuff with a portable bandsaw. Really is a good tool in this whenever you're dealing with these long sheets. For the majority of the other tubing, I've got a miter saw set up there, but you know, this portable bandsaw, it really does a good job whenever you're dealing with kind of these awkward sheets and awkward lengths and everything. So anyway, you know, trailers are really easy to build. I've built a lot of trailers in the past, and you know, the biggest thing with a trailer is you got to build a square. You know, it sounds stupid, but you know, most trailers, utility trailers and on up, are squares. If you can build a true square without racks or anything else, it goes pretty easy. This trailer here is really no different, except for a traditional utility trailer would say come over and up, and then you'd have your tongue underneath. I'm just building this in. So anyway, once I get that cut and find my center again, then I can square up this whole trailer, start welding in my cross pieces. There's going to be 3 cross braces in this trailer. That's 3 by 3 by 1/4 inch square tubing. And then I'll find layout here and placement for my 2 axles. There's going to be double axles on this trailer. So anyway, a lot going on, but at the same time, it's pretty easy, especially these trailers. These trailers are, you know, fairly easy. They come together pretty quick once you get everything all laid out. My cross braces are going to follow the same 15-degree contour as the bottom of my boat. My axle's got a 2.5 inch drop in it anyway, so everything will flow real nice. You know, if I was building a flat bottom boat, I wouldn't really have to worry about that so much. But building this hull on 15 degrees, I want my bunks to be at 15 degrees, rather than flat, so I don't have to build them up and it looks all jacked up and the boat sits real high on the trailer. So anyway, the axles that I'm using they're torsion axles, so no leaf springs or anything. Really like torsion axles, fluid-filled hubs, and surge brakes. So pretty good setup. It's going to make for a nice pulling rig. So anyway, that's kind of where I'm going there. Once I get that, then I'll just add on my tongue, my desired length, doubling up the this 2 1/4 inch channel. So anyway guys, that's kind of where I'm at. I'm going to get my other cuts made, and I'll check back with you. So you guys saw in the time lapse, it kept getting dark. What I was doing was I've got a laser level set up over there, and I made a plumb line all the way down the trailer and found dead center, which got me an idea there of where everything's going to be brought together. So I've got 2 pieces here of the channel cut, and the hitch, which is going to have my brake booster in it, is 3 inches wide. So this here, with this being 2 1/4, I'm 4.5 inches wide now, so it won't slide over top. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to rip each one of these down to make it 3 inches, and then bring everything together so where my brake booster will sit over top of it. So in order to do that, I'm taking, I've got a guide here on my worm drive saw. Same thing I ripped the big sheets down with, and I'm just going to go along the edge here, and I'm going to rip everything down to 1.5 inches wide. I'll bring it together and then weld this whole seam all the way down. And I did this I could go buy more material, but I've already bought this material. It's just this channel's not real cheap anyway, and I had to buy a full stick. So, it's a little extra work, but at the same time, it's, I've already bought it. So I'll rip that down. Once I've ripped that down, I'll take my laser line and I'll line up dead center. And then what I'll do is I'll take a square and I'll square off of this over, make a miter cut on that channel on each side all the way down, so where this channel will be brought together and it'll look real clean, and then I'll weld all that up, and then that'll be my tongue. So a little update. I apologize. I'm still playing with learning the time-lapse settings on the GoPro, and I had what I thought was a bunch of stuff recorded, and as it turns out, I didn't have a long enough clip, you know, because I kept moving the camera around. So, you know, that's my bad on that. I'll know whenever we move to the boat building project, I'll do things a little different. So, anyway, I'll just kind of give you guys an overview, because I pretty much got the trailer to a point where I need to get the boat or get measurements off the boat to finish it up. So I'll just give you guys an overview. I thought it came out really nice. So what I've got is the square part from that point down to there is 19 feet. There's an additional 5 foot here. Now this is where the front of the boat's gonna sit, 24-foot boat. And then I added on a long piece here. I just made myself a 5-foot tongue. I know I won't need it, but as I welded it in, I'd rather just cut a foot off the end, or a foot and a half, or whatever it ends up being. So what I'll end up doing is I'll end up bringing a piece of channel from about that point to right in front of my brake booster and triangulate that even more once the time comes. Additionally, to square up or to reinforce this corner here, right now this corner is just welded. Once I get my off-falls of my flat material, I'm going to strap that right there around, and I'm waiting on material to come in, and I'm going to take tubing and triangulate the corners there and there, additionally there and there, and that way I've got a nice sturdy brake here, because, you know, at this point this is kind of my weak point right here, where I had to break and weld this. I wasn't able to get it to bend. I had to actually cut it. So other than that, this thing is about all the way done. Everything's welded up. All my cross supports, they welded in really nice by going underneath and welding that. Real happy with that. So what I did on the axles here, I'm also waiting on axles and tires. To a point I had to take the tire off of this boat just to get where I'm at now. But so what I did was I dropped down 3 inches, used the 1/4 inch square tubing, and then I ripped an additional piece of 1/4 inch, welded that onto the bottom. So I'm bolting into a 1/2 inch of aluminum on the bottom. Set that for both my axles. Naturally, that axle is going to go there, and the rear axle is going to be there. Got everything cleaned up and looking real nice on the back here. I've got channel welded in. This is where my lights will be. My trailer lights here. So, like I said, project's coming along real nice here. So additionally here, what's going to happen with the front of the boat, or the front of the trailer rather, is, like I said, my front of my boat is going to be somewhere right in that area. So once I get the boat set on there, I'll be able to plan out where my upright is for my winch and my tie downs and everything else. And you know, I'll probably end up cutting a plate and welding a plate on top of that. You know, or triangulating it some other way where I can put my brace for my winch. So other than that, everything stayed real nice and square. I took my time.
real cautious and careful with everything. You know, this is aluminum, so it acts funny, more so than steel, but you know, everything stayed nice and square and true. Really happy with how this trailer came out. This is the longest trailer I've built. Usually, you know, I've in the 14 to 16 foot range, and this thing here from tongue to back end right now is right at 30 foot long. So you know, a little bit bigger than what I've traditionally built, but real happy with how it turned out. So anyway, guys, that's kind of an update here. Like I said, right now what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna pull this trailer out, get swept up, and then we'll get the sheets laid out, and we'll start basically building the boat hull. That's the next, basically the next step here. Once all that's done and I get some more material, then I can, you know, start figuring out where I want my uprights. It'll probably be a run there and a run there. Maybe not centered, maybe. I'll just have to wait and see how it's gonna set for my bunks of my trailer. And then I can put the boat on the trailer and finish it. And finish my fenders, and I'm just kind of waiting on materials, but you know, pretty good point right now. I'm happy with the progress I made. So like I said, I'm gonna get cleaned up, and next we really are gonna start building the boat. So the easy part's done. Trailer's out of the way. Everything's welded up to this point, as solid as I can be. Like I said, I've just got a few hours left of work to finish this guy up, but a couple of days, not bad. All right, guys, that's the update. I'll get with you guys whenever we start doing the boat. I really want to try to show quite a bit on how I do the dead rise and all the reverse chines, and show that part of the building process. You know, there's not a lot of information out there on it, so I'm going to try to cover that in fairly good detail. So anyway, guys, thanks for sticking with me. We'll see you guys whenever we do something else.